I will be kind of, or trying to go over things I mentioned in the 1.2 update reveal announcement video. And I know that was a mouthful to say, but as we get scars, all perks, random item stats, Azal, Mizuki here, no timestamps, just go in. Although I was, as I cough here, planning to play as a certain character, that's not the case. And let me just take a look as we get Dexterity, Takshisan, Light, check Strength, Charisma, and then maybe a Knowledge check. But we'll have to see. So, as I get into this run here, I'm actually switching the volume because I noticed that my game volume is a bit low. Aside from that, not really much else to pay attention to. So, I think we are going to go ally attack here. We're on Azal, but if we get the ally rule, shrug, right? At a certain point, I have to decide. And at the same time, if I look at my mystery, so another thing we can do for ally attack, and I'll mention this more as we get into update talk in a bit. I'm coughing, but let's fill this empty bottle and get moving. Fame would be nice if we can. I don't know. You don't normally plan to tank the ally rule, but it depends again. So we get ward, we have recluse, and then we have painting. We have 4 out of town mysteries, by the way. So by process of elimination, the only town mystery we have is ramen to try and get allies. But what I'm trying to say here is we take boss mysteries, and when we get the ally rule, we can chuck all of our allies away. I normally don't try to do that. I would recommend you get a weapon with Mizuki. But as we talk about the 1.2 update, I'm going to call it 1.2, by the way. Yeah, we'll have to see which mechanics change. I mentioned mechanics changing, and that's important to note. Because, if anything, I mean, it could even be, excuse me, my words, can't word good, it could even be something as quote-unquote simple, because it's not simple, as a number flip here and there. Also, we just grabbed Maria, that's right, so we can't grab any more school friends. But this will be good enough. But basically, small switches, whether it's action speed, whether it's an extra point of damage somewhere, it will be quite valuable. As I've mentioned before, but for anyone newer to the channel, I would like to reiterate at least that an extra point of damage here and there can mean the difference between 1 turn and 2 turning an enemy, and that's important on Harbinger of Doom, because being able to 1 turn or 2 turn an enemy means the difference between taking -2 or -3 all damage, which is quite a hefty amount of damage for... Yeah, it's a hefty amount of bad damage. Not really much else to say on that. I took fun... Oh, wait, because we needed the hospital pass. So, we're going to take ward. If we can't get into painting beforehand, it might be fine. We do have recluse as well, so that's the problem I'm kind of wrapping my head around. It's also important to note because all of these base mysteries are going to be thrown into the mix, along with the 3 new mysteries. Oh, I have to check now. But let's assume there are 3 new mysteries. It is 20%. There is a 20% chance, and I think higher than that one of the new mysteries will become part of the rotation. Again, I personally don't like to reroll mysteries during a video or a challenge of some sort, so I have to learn how these mysteries kind of play into each other. That's another thing I haven't talked about in a moment, is the combination of mysteries and which ones you take. As a general rule, I like to try to do the boss mysteries first, before any easier, quote-unquote, easier mysteries. And by that, I mean mysteries that don't have any bosses. However, quick little aside here, it is important to note that just because a mystery doesn't have a boss, as we were on the item world, weren't we? Yep. Whoops. Just because a mystery doesn't have a boss, and maybe an old god is messing with you as well, doesn't mean that a mystery can't do a lot of damage. Because that's really the trade-off that you're looking for when you are going into... or deciding on mysteries. Nice experience rule, by the way. Yeah, and overall, bosses do normally do a lot of damage. If you take scissors as your first mystery on your Harbinger of Doom and you're suddenly on timeline A, even if you do the ritual, you hope that you're 2-turning her. Otherwise, you're really 3-turning her most of the time. So, and by extension, you're actually... I'm trying to focus on the game as well. You are actually doing a desperate struggle at some point, which by nature means you are going to be going to 3 stamina or 3 reason and below. So as opposed to, you know, taking one mystery because it could be a quote-unquote easy mystery, is easier mystery like arms, Brahmin, to even some extent footage. But if you need to take a boss mystery, again, before the fourth mystery and onward, where they get a damage boost on top of maybe Harbinger of Doom difficulty, you have to take it. Also, we do have the handcuffs, just making sure. I don't think we can ally attack this boss, but we can take a look. So, 4 strength means we don't get a guaranteed kick here. But the question is, after that, do I have a chance to ally attack? I do, actually. But then we're gambling. I mean, we're gambling here anyway, so you know what? We'll do this and see what happens. 12 HP, that's not enough to handcuff, so I guess we're just going to do it again. And I will handcuff this time as another option select, because if we don't do enough, we don't do enough. Also, I think I just messed up my thing anyway. And experience rule on top of item rule, so... Third mystery, 66% Doom. This is not looking good. I should have stored the items, but... I forgot. I did just forget. So, this does mean... Oh, wait, we can't monument because we have 3 out-of-town mysteries back to back to back. Oh, yeah. Just hope we don't get the ally rule, and here it is. So, we don't even get fame here, so that's really, really bad. Now, we will have on our own in a moment because we're about to toss all of our allies. Preferably, we toss all of them. There is still some strategy to use here. And that is to throw all of your allies at the boss of I think you can throw allies even if the boss is defeated. So again, not really a bug, but more an oversight. I've mentioned this before in a perm video, but there's something important to say, but I'm trying to word it correctly. But all you need to know is that we can get rid of all these allies before Azal penalizes us. So I'm shrugging in real life. Now, keep in mind, we would have had like 12 less Doom here, so 60% Doom. Recluse is a low Doom mystery anyway, but that's going to make things a lot more interesting, really. So, as we drink this bottle of water, I might even throw this bottle... No. We might lose Bath, but no. Also, keeping in mind, if a weather effect were to be used here, that would be also something to think about as well. But because we don't know all of the effects of weather at the moment, then yeah, not really much else to say. I was about to say, did these allies get their damage? I was about to say, are they really randomized? It didn't feel like it, but anywho. So yeah, we send all the allies at the boss here to hold the ghost down while Mizuki severs it with her legs. We thankfully get out in 2 turns, but yeah, as you can see here, could have been a lot worse. So, with the experience roll, we'll take about, now 50 damage, 5 Doom damage, but the run's not over till it's over. But again, if I had saved the Doom I did without human error, because Azal, I mentioned it in the 1.2 video, regardless of where, oh, now we have the fun rule and then we don't have things. Funny, I think this is one of the only times I'm about to visit this store. Even though I think it costs Doom. It does cost Doom. Well, we'll buy the Holy Candle anyway, but... Maybe we get a Holy Candle event during painting. Maybe we get 2. I don't think there are 2 in the mansion, but... We'll do our best. So, we can't keep this Holy Candle on us. We're just keeping it on us until the end of the mystery. Now I need to focus because there's a lot of human error that can go wrong here. So, what is the 4th effect we got? Fun. So yeah, we need to toss those, but we'll toss those at the end, and you'll know it's the end. Again, if nothing else, to kind of go over baseline 1.2 update things to consider. Things like remembering where you're investigating, which locations you're investigating during each mystery, how many times, in what order, because that can make the difference, especially when you're really trying to plan things out here and there. We can't fight this, by the way. I know that increases our Doom. We can't fight it. So... And if nothing, even a very, very simple way to think about it is the encounters that you run into tied to the location. I was going to say barring. Tied to the locations that you're going into. We need to toss all of our funds as well. We have 96% Doom and 1 mystery left. There's a very low chance we survive this, but again, we do our best. Other things include, even in the scenario mode, wondering if enemies that are... Basically, if it's not a railroad where... there aren't any random factors where you're suddenly fighting the, say, Dream Eater, or you're not fighting rioters in the downtown area in a scenario mode, even though the scenario mode looks like it takes place primarily in the forest location. But you get the point. That's why I mentioned Dream Eater. That's why I'll mention Kinoko Gatherers, because they can be things as this video comes to an end. Pretty much, we didn't even get a chance to use the Holy Candle, but it's been a long time since I visited that shop in Festival as well, which is really interesting because yeah, you still take Doom for going in, but shrug. I mean, fair enough, right? The only other thing I'll mention is that yes, we are getting new characters. I wanted to talk about the tarot card system, but again, until we know more about it in specifically, not really much else to say. So as this video ends, I just guess this would be the casual video for today. A human error, dude.